Okay, this will be take 4. They're small, and I'll have those stories that I just, I'm a storyteller, so I just, it's a story telling you that I'm a storyteller. But if you haven't figured that out by now, then you will. I mean, this might be your first time here. So, it's been quite a day. I was awakened at, I woke up at 5:58, but I was kind of awakened out of the dream world. And when I woke up, I was feeling a large amount of grief. Yesterday it was panic. Today it was grief. The Hathors suggested that I have them make some sounds through me to help resolve the grief. But they suggested that I record it so that they could help others if they were feeling that. So we did. I actually did it outside because there were people sleeping in the house, and sometimes those Hathor sounds can be a little disconcerting to wake up to. So I went outside, where it's not warm quite yet. I put a little, what we call in Canada toques, little cap to keep your head warm, and I had a real thick bathrobe on. And I went out, and I, like with my glasses on, I stood in front of the screen and I said, we're going to do a Hathor. I don't know what I said. You can watch the video. But then I just sat down next to the thing and just had the camera pointed out at the water in the mountains. And then I made sounds for 10 minutes, I think. Could have been longer. But they were really nice, low sounds, and I felt that they really shifted things for me. So I hope they shifted things for others as well. Now we have a different kitty over here, so you might get to see. This is the Queen's cat, Jules. When she was a little kitten, when we'd have guests over, she would steal their jewelry. And so we called her Jules Thief. But she doesn't do that anymore. She hasn't stolen anybody's jewelry in a long time. She didn't necessarily, wasn't hiding that she was stealing it. She was just running around the house with it in her mouth. It might have been another lifetime thing. Okay. So we're gonna set up a healing field, and so my suggestion is that you first state a few things out loud if you feel like it. You can watch this video without doing any of the things I suggest. Yeah, you're a free agent. You're a sovereign being. Nobody's the boss of you. Okay, so. The things I'd suggest that you state out loud are, I choose to connect to my deep self. And then when you do that, when you're saying that, you might be saying it right now while I continue to talk. But while you're saying that, feel that when that happens. Notice where you go to connect with your deep self, because your deep self stays where it is. So unless yours doesn't, okay? This has been my experience. You may have a different experience, and yours will be right too, because it'll be yours. But when I connect to my deep self, I go to a particular place and I connect. So I travel. I'm not inviting the deep self to come over and hang out with me in my reality of myself. There's a whole bunch of selves, just so you know. Higher self, deep self, regular self, irregular self, and multiple selves. Okay, so I connect to my deep self. I choose to connect to my deep self. Either way works. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. Feel that. And that being of the earth is Abrahamanad. So if you want to, connect to the healing center of the earth, and as you're connecting to the healing center of the earth, say, "Hi, Abrahamanad," if you can say it. I've been saying it for 28 years. I still can't see it. Or 27 in a month. Hi, Abraham Anand. It's kind of like Abraham Anand, but it's Abraham Anand. Why? Yeah, I don't even try to understand why. Why one of my earlier guides came up with the name Arlen. Like, does Arlen sound like a spirit guide or a German farmer? It sounded to me like, oh, Arlen. He's my spiritual teacher. Okay, this will be interesting. All right, we haven't got very far yet, but we've done a lot. So we're now connected to our deep self, grounded to the healing center of the earth. And you state this as well, I open myself to the healing power of the One. And notice where you have to go to do that. And if you wish to, you can state, I choose to work with the Hathors. And you can just say that once, and then that's it. So anytime you're working with me, if you're choosing to work with Hathors, if you've already stated it, then they're aware of your presence and what it is that would be of your highest good to have shift and change. Anything that I'm holding that's not of the highest good, I choose to release that now. And so this is just my experience. You notice your experience. If you and I are having similar experiences, it's not unusual because we're oftentimes responding to the world's energetics. So for me, there's this feeling like something's opening up in my chest, and what's keeping it from opening up in my chest is pulling in. So there's this bit of a feeling of pulling in the center of the chest, and there's a feeling of a pushing out in the center of the chest. If you're having that, fine. And if you're not having that, fine. Okay. I choose to set up a healing field for, and I'm going to say Steve, and you can say your name, and you can say it out loud. Saying it out loud makes a difference. Just kind of watch. Sometimes you might want to do it, you don't say it out loud, and you see what happens, and you say it out loud, and you see if it's different. I've always found it's different. The Hathors taught me much of what I know, and they always would say, state this out loud. And they'd also correct me if I said something out loud that was not in my highest good. And they would say, do you want to create that? And I'd go, well, no. And they said, then don't say it. So they were really kind of strict in a very nice way. They're very pleasant beings. They're very easygoing. But if you ask them to help you, they do. Okay. So I'm setting up a healing field for and Steve. This will be a world healing field. And we ask that the Brotherhood of Light please be present, the Day of Healing, please be present, Pan of Nature please be present, Sisterhood of Light please be present. All the helpers and guides of all the people who this field is being set up for, please be present in the field. I ask that Saint Germain please be present, that Metatron please be present, that Kuan Yin please be present, that Master Kun Li please be present, that Master Mo please be present, that the Christ Consciousness please be present. Holders of space please be present. Sanat Kumara please be present. Abrahamanad please be present. Alcazar please be present. The interdimensional being please be present. Thoth please be present. Ra please be present. The deep self please be present. The higher self please be present. Our soul ray group, please be present. I ask that we be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. I ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good to release and integrate at this time. I'm guessing that more than likely we'll all be heading back to the same event, but that's not necessarily true. So I'll be holding the field, which is what I do. I hold the field that's being held. So, and I ground a lot of the energies. So if another event is the highest good for you to go to, then you'll go back to that event. It may be different than the one that I'm saying, and we go to I ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good, release and integrate at this time. It's possible that you could end up at a different event than I'm going to. But if you do end up at a different event, I'll end up at that event as well, because there's something about that I need to be at the event while it's clearing, and I don't understand that, but that's the way it's been since it started. And these particular types of healing sessions started in 2013. So 11 years ago, and now this is starting to release a bit in the chest, and it might be for you too. And so when we get back to this event, things can start to happen physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We can feel things that just begin to occur in our body. We can notice areas that show up for us. We may have had some type of a symptom going into this healing event, and that symptom may amplify or that symptom may clear. And I say that symptom may amplify because I've noticed today, since this morning, something going on with my left ear. So I'm still aware of that. Even after the Hathors chant I'm sounding this morning, I was still aware of a sensitivity in my left ear. So, but you may be aware of a variety of things, and you may or may not be aware of this feeling of something pulling in the chest, and it just doesn't matter. I mention these things because people sometimes find it useful to go, oh, I'm feeling that too. And they feel good about that we're sharing an experience of discomfort. We're funny little humans. Okay, so we're also going to invite all souls that were affected by this event. So all the souls that are in human bodies can go back to the event when we're holding a space for it. So we can just send it out into the world. All souls affected by this event can return to the event, release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves. And if you are kind of energy aware, you can actually pay attention to how many souls was that. Like, oh, that seems to be a lot of souls going back to this event. So that means, that it's a large event. If, 100,000 souls are going back to it, it's a big one. And there can be more. I mean, that seems to be relatively big. It's a football stadium size crowd back at the event. And then I ask that they all be placed in a field of protection while they're doing their work. And upon our arrival at the event, I ask the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event, gently and easily, fully and completely, on all levels and through all space and time. And now the field is set up. If you, chose to have this field be set up for you, you're in a field of protection while you release the energies back at this event. When I originally started doing this, I would go back to the event and I would watch what the event was. And I would see, and most of these events are other lifetimes where there was a loss of life. And so and it was just an event that we didn't get over. So usually, if we have a loss of life in a lifetime, after the event, we go up and have a life review, and we look at it and we release the energy of it. That's kind of the intention at that period of time after we've left that life. There are lives that we don't do that. There's lives that we just go screaming off, and we're just like, okay, I'll deal with this later. That was too much. And now we're dealing with it later. So more than likely, we're back in an event where there was a death, maybe multiple deaths. It may be that this whole group of people, souls, that have gone back to this event, all lost their lives in a kind of cataclysmic event. Most of the events I've gone back to are a fair number of people dying within a short period of time. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it for whatever it is for you. And if you want, you can turn the video off and just lay and notice what you notice. And at a certain point, you'll feel like there's quite a relaxation, and the event will be clear. And when you feel like the event's clear, then there'll be a second video that I'll make that'll just be, words that I speak, little thing that I do at the end of a clearing of a life event. And so you can turn that video on and then go through the process of completing this healing session. It's not really too complicated, and especially if you've done it like me, like a lot. You figure, I'm just doing the math. And so yeah, I'd say, 250 sessions a year, 11 years, 2,500 plus one. It's a lot. It's a lot of sessions. 2,525 sessions or whatever. Yeah, or 2,600 or who knows. But it's a lot of sessions. And so it's very natural for me. Although it's, I've never learned, I've not very often got to experience these healing sessions comfortably. So there's usually I feel the energies releasing and the, where they're stuck. I feel that. And so as a result, to kind of assist me and us in this process, I'm going to see, and this isn't something I've done more than a few times, which is when I have a field set up for a group of people or for an individual and a group of souls, when I have a field set up, I've a few times brought the Hathors in to assist anyone who's in this healing field. So I'm going to be doing that today. So the sounds are going to come through. Like this morning, the sounds feel really quiet. So it doesn't matter how strongly you hear them. The frequency of them will activate certain things in the body. It may activate certain things in the body, usually does, and you'll feel those activations. So you'll feel where the sound is affecting the body or the energy field. Okay. All right. Here goes a little sound. And I may just point at some areas where I feel the sound is affecting me. And if you don't want to see where the sound is affecting me, just close your eyes. You know, or if you do want to see where the sound is affecting me, you're welcome to keep your eyes open. But sometimes people like to just be in their own experience with the sound. So. And I would mention that while you're watching this, it can be very beneficial in the process for you to, if you've chosen to work with the Hathors, and you feel like having the Hathors sound through you as they're sounding through me, and you can just let those sounds come out, and the Hathors can direct specific sounds. They can do it through me for you, but they can also do it for you through you. So feel free, and you don't have to do it the first time, you don't have to do it any time. But if you want to, you can allow the Hathors to sound through you, and it may not be any better, or it may be a lot better. It may just be really fun. Because their energy is so lovely. So you feel their energy coming through the sound. I get to feel the energy coming through my body, which is really nice. And the energy coming through the sound also, you take into your body if you wish. Each of you who does this with me, I hope you recognize how you're changing the world while you do it. I think it's useful to know that if the world could be changed by these higher dimensional beings just sitting up there, they could just be changing the world. But I understand that there are rules, and only those who are incarnated, who are in bodies, can change the world. And they can change the world with the beings who are not incarnated if they choose to work with them, and they make the choice to change the world through sound and through vibration, which is my perception, the way the world changes. I think the world was created through sound, and the way the world is changed through sound. And you can just be at ease in terms of working with these higher dimensional beings, because it's another world up there. I've spent a fair amount of time in that world. I'm connected to it all the time, but my consciousness is sometimes very 3D. Like, oh, the wheelbarrow isn't working. What am I going to do? But one can also do that from a higher perspective. The wheelbarrow isn't working. I mean, I guess from the highest perspective, yeah, possibly. I don't do this personally, so it's just so you know. But I could go, oh, the wheelbarrow isn't working. Ooh, oh, the wheelbarrow is working. I have done it with my car, where my car wouldn't start, and I've asked the Hathors, can you help me start the car? And so the Hathors have made some sound and the car started. I've had that experience, but I haven't had transmogrification of the bolts that have rusted out on the wheelbarrow, you know. I noticed that they did today because they were just kind of like sticking up, and I looked underneath and there was like holes in the metal, so they had given in, and so they're going to need some repair, and more than likely I'm going to have to do that on a 3D level. I'd be really happy if I could just like imagine it without rust. I'd love to be able to do that with cars as well. And maybe at some point I'll be able to. I'll just be able to make this. But I have made sounds from my vehicle, and and something kind of mysterious has occurred where I had a razor that I really liked that couldn't hold a charge in its battery anymore. And then it started to hold a charge again. Made me very happy because I really liked that razor. So I just kind of you know, went off a bit on a tangent, but I think some of the information was really good, and I would again recommend that you consider this healing field. That, you know, if you feel complete with it, then that's that. But if you feel like some things kind of got started with the sound, just go to the place where the sound starts and let those sounds come through again. Because sometimes I go back and I watch and I listen to, I try not to watch them. I find I enjoy my videos much better with my eyes closed where I'm not looking at myself, but that's fine. You know, I'm interested because I don't get to hear the sound of my voice coming back from the computer very often. So I hear the sound of my voice inside my head, but when I hear it from the computer, it sounds different. And I find it actually more soothing to me than the way it sounds inside my head. Maybe it's just because the voices and what they're saying, who knows. Well, this has been very useful for me. I just express my deep appreciation for you doing this with me. Any of you who do this with me, the power of it is so great. And I think one of my videos, I saw that 570 people or something, one of the sound videos, 570 people had at least clicked on it. But I can see a time in the not too distant future where we'll do a sound healing and there'll just be thousands of people will be doing the sound healing together. And I have my IT person lives with me, and is known as my stepdaughter, a lovely human being. But I have my IT person here, I think, for another week, and then she's off on the road again. And so, and also her choreographic partner is arriving tomorrow, and he'll be here for a week as well. So between the two of them, they may be able to show me how to do a live video, which just could be interesting. I mean, this is pretty live, so when you're watching this, you know, because if you watch one of the live videos that's not live, but it was live, but it would be really interesting to see what would happen when, you know, however many of us got together. And I don't know about live yet, so I don't know anything about it. That's why I'm not necessarily doing it or going to do it right away. But I'd like to do it. I have that idea that would be really interesting for a group of us to just set up a healing field, work the energy of the healing field, and then sound together. Just the power of that just is very exciting to me. And this this was actually, I was asked to do this type of a thing that I'm doing now. I was asked to do it by the Hathors in 2011. And I just didn't feel like I was in a space I could do this. And then I was asked by my dream teachers to do this in this like June of 2020. So coming up on 4 years. And I was like, okay, but I just put it off and put it off and put it off because it just seemed like it was so technical. I'd have to learn all these things and I wasn't in a place. And all of 2020, I was starting to work with the world healing field, which was just, you can imagine possibly that you've been doing these healing sessions with these individuals. So since 2013, I've been doing healing sessions since the 70s, but I've been doing these particular healing sessions since 2013. So 7 years, and I've been doing them with an individual, sometimes a group, but a small group. And so when they asked me to set up a world healing field, I just went like, you gotta be kidding me. So anyway, I did it because I just thought, well, I'm being asked to do this. Let's just see what happens. Well, what happened was, boy, it was challenging. And this is 4 years later. So 2020, end of January 2020 to the end of January 2024 is 4 years plus a few months. And this is the last year of the whole 28-year cleansing process. So, 97 to 2004 was physical cleansing, 2004 to 2011 was mental cleansing, 2011 to 2018 was emotional cleansing, 2018 to 2025 spiritual cleansing. So we're in the last 11 months till March 23rd, 2025. In that last 11 months. And there was a period of time in 2023, I would say from January 2023 till August 2023, where I felt like it was getting easy. And then in August 2023, it just got super hard and hasn't stopped being super hard. So I'm hoping, I haven't talked to anybody about this, but they know what I'm hoping. And they just tell me really what I need to do. I asked for some time off at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. I asked for some time off. And in early January, and they said, you can take a break on the 21st of January. And I was like feeling desperate, like I just can't do. And so at the 21st of January, I think it was, they gave me a day off. I was not thinking a day, I was thinking like maybe a week. And they basically said, okay, you can take some time off. And then it was either the next day or the day after, they said, okay, we need you back on again. So, it's 24/7. It's all night. And that does not mean that you can't help me from time to time. I mean, really, this session that we just did was for you, and it's also a world healing session. So you participating in a healing session for you heals the world. That's how it works. Okay, so that's enough. And you may not have even stayed for this part of it. You didn't need to. You could click it off. And the sound healing was pretty nice. And then I'll make a video to complete the healing field. And I'll make that. And then when you feel like, okay, I'm ready to do that, then you can just jump onto that one and do that last little bit as well. Okay. Nowmustgo.